Good morning, all of you. So, in the last class, we discussed about charging and discharging of a capacitor and a variation of different parameters in that. So, when a resistance is connected in series with that cell, right? And so, now in today class, first let us see about how to find the time constant of the circuit directly. So, right. So, just by finding the time constant of the circuit, in some questions you can answer that about the charge on the capacitor more easily. Instead of doing total lengthy calculations, you can find the uh, charge on the capacitor at any instant very easily. And in some cases they will directly ask about the find the time constant of the given circuit. So there are many previous questions also based on the just finding the time constant of the given circuit. So here the procedure to find the time constant is, if there is only one resistor and one capacitor connected in that series, as we discussed in the charging or discharging of the capacitors. So what we mentioned is directly we mentioned the time constant as like tau is equal to RC, we mentioned there, right? So now we are going to discuss in case of if there are many capacitors or resistors are included in that circuit. So how to find the time constant? So we find the effective resistance by short circuiting the cells. That means whatever the cells are there, we need to replace them by a conducting wire. That is the first step you need to do. We need to replace the cells, all the cells present in that circuit, and replace them by a conducting wire, right? So then find the effective resistance across the capacitor, and so that then we can write this time constant as, so this time constant is equal to R net or R effective into C, we can write. And in some cases that two or more capacitors may also be included, then in that case you need to write R effective into C effective, you need to write, or net capacitance or effective capacitance you can write here. So that is the general procedure to find that. So that means R effective into C effective you can write if more capacitors are also included in that, right? So just to mention the procedure there. So first mention about that, and I will explain these new circuits here. When two or more resistors and capacitors are connected in a circuit, two or more resistors and capacitors are connected in a circuit, then the time constant of the circuit, can be calculated easily by the following procedure. So in that first point, short circuit all the cells present in the circuit. So short circuit means you may write in bracket replace that cell by a conducting wire. So that means short circuit means you know already. So just if any cell is connected, so we replace that cell just with a conducting wire there, right? So that means short circuit all the cells present in the circuit. The meaning of that is, in brackets you may mention that replace the cell by a conducting wire, right? So that is the first step. Second step, find effective resistance across the capacitor, Third one, if two or more capacitors are included in the circuit, then find effective capacitance. Then the time constant of the circuit is given by, so mention this, tau is equal to R effective into C effective, right? So it is a procedure there for this finding that time constant of the circuit directly. So now let us see this example here. So I am taking a circuit like this, a cell of EMF, say whatever the EMF E, that E is there, and this is some capacitance C is there. So this is a circuit given there, and we need to find our time constant there. So our first step is we need to short circuit the cell. So by short circuiting the cell, so we need to find the effective resistance there. So short circuiting the cell means to find that effective capacitance. I am drawing the circuit like this. So you can draw the circuit like this. So you can observe this now here. A cell is given here. Now I am replacing that cell by a conducting wire here. So that is the point what I mentioned there. That is the meaning of that point. So that means we are replacing this by a conducting wire. So this is resistance and this is also resistance, right? Now here two resistors are there here. Then we need to find the effective resistance across this capacitor here. So that means across this point here a capacitor is connected. So across that we need to find that effective resistance here. So now we can easily identify that these two resistors are in parallel, right? So then these two resistors are in parallel here. This resistance you may connect here so that you can understand it easily. So that R effective value will be equal to, so here therefore this R effective is equal to R and R both are in parallel, so that R effective will be R by 2. Therefore this time constant we can write it as time constant is equal to tau is equal to, our formula is R effective into C. So therefore it is R effective is R by 2. So RC by 2. So that is the time constant of this circuit here, right? So then so that is the time constant calculation. And if they ask to find the charge on the capacitor at any instant, I will explain how to find the charge on the capacitor at any instant. So this is the time constant calculation. Now whereas for example if this circuit if you are considering here, so let us consider such a similar circuit, only that instead of this resistance here I am taking this resistance in series with that capacitor there. And here also you may consider this L is of EMF E and this is capacitance C. So now the same procedure here, this is a second example you may note here. So now the same procedure. So we are going to replace that cell by a conducting wire, short circuit. So that means I am replacing this by a conducting wire here. So that here one resistance is there and here one more resistance is there here, right? So that this is across this we need to find here. So now let this across these 2 points we are finding that effective resistance here. So when you are finding effective resistance across this, you need to observe this. Now what is the effective resistance in the circuit? Between these 2 points here, that is important. We are calculating between these 2 points here. Then effective resistance in the circuit we can say it as only R. Is it clear? Because this resistance is short circuited. A conducting wire is there across this. What is the potential difference across this resistance? 0. In this case, once you short circuit the cell here, then in our procedure we are getting this resistance will become ineffective because we are getting a conducting wire across it. So this resistance is ineffective. So that we should not consider this resistance here while calculating this R effective value here. So then only this R is there here. So I am writing this effective resistance is equal to only R. Is it clear? So this resistance is ineffective, it will be short circuited. Therefore the time constant of this circuit. So time constant of the circuit I can write this as, this is R effective into C, and so now here that R effective is nothing but R, so it is RC only, right? So that is the time constant of that circuit there. So that is a procedure to find the time constant of any circuit. So let us take one more example and remember these 2 circuits, and I will derive the time like I will explain how to find the charge on the capacitor at any instant also, right? So remember those 2 circuits there. And so now I am taking this another example for this to understand that more clearly. Suppose now let us take another circuit as suppose this is the circuit what I am taking here. So this is 4R, this is 2R, and this is 3R, and this is R, and this is the capacitance. So right, so we need to find the time constant of the circuit here. So then our procedure is, so we are replacing the cell by a conducting wire. So then the equivalent circuit, the resulting circuit we can mention like this. So the resulting circuit I am drawing like this. So this is 2R, 3R, and this is 4R, and this is R, right? So across the capacitor, that is why I am not drawing that capacitor here. So between these 2 points you need to find that effective resistance here, right? So now we can observe that these two are in series, and so that resistance will be in parallel with this 3R, and so that then effective resistance, and that will be in series with this R here. Therefore here that R effective value I am writing this as, so 6R and 3R both are in parallel, so 6R into 3R by 9R, that means 6R plus 3R, plus, that means whatever the resistance we are getting will here, that will be in series with this R, and therefore this R effective is equal to, here you will get 2R plus R, 3R, and therefore this time constant is equal to, time constant tau is equal to C into, that means R effective into C we need to write here, and therefore this is 3R into C. So that is our expression here, time constant of the circuit. So that is a way of finding the time constant here. I think you got some clarity about this, finding the time constants. So in further we will get some more circuits, then in that circuits also you can use that time constant calculation procedure here, right? So now let us see how to derive an expression for charge on the capacitor at any instant of time. So the expressions what we derived are like in the previous classes, what we during the charging or discharging we derived some expressions there, right? So those are valid only when only one capacitor and one resistors are there in that circuit, which are said to be standard circuits. So for deriving that, we derived one circuit, one capacitor and one resistors are in series. So only for that circuit you will that expressions are valid here. So for every circuit you can't apply the same formula, right? But the procedure will be same. Now let us see the current, to find the current charge on the capacitor at any instant in the circuit and current drawn from the cell. So write that question here. So in the circuit shown in figure, find the charge on the capacitor, find the charge on the capacitor and the current flowing through the resistors R1 and R2, current flowing through the resistors R1 and R2, and also find the current drawn from the cell, So now let us see the procedure to find this. Just we need to apply our Kirchhoff laws here. That is a basic procedure. I will explain how to answer it directly also. But our general basic procedure to find this current charge on the capacitor at any instant is, so we need to take some charge current here, current distribution. I am assuming the current drawn from the cell is I1, and then this current flowing to this capacitor I am taking as I here. So you need to remember here a simple point here. The current flowing through this cell, that means through this capacitor I am taking as I here, so that you can replace that I as dq by dt. So if you are, for example, if you are taking I here and I1, for example, here if you are taking, or I1 or I2 if you are taking, for example, then that value you need to replace it as dq by dt. So you need to remember that point. Whatever the current you are taking in this, that current you need to replace it as dq by dt, so that q will give the charge on this capacitor here. If you are assuming here and if you are replacing that I as dq by dt where q is the charge on the capacitor, then you will get the wrong answer. So for that, remember that point. So for that, if you are taking I directly in this path where the capacitor is there, then there is no confusion here. You can replace that I value with the dq by dt. If you are taking I any other branch, and if you are taking some other variable here, you need to remember that variable you need to replace it as dq by dt there, otherwise you will get the wrong answers for that. So then first I am taking this for this first loop here a b e f a. So for this loop we are writing here, so minus I1 minus I into R, that means we are traveling in the direction of this current, plus E is equal to 0, and from this I1 expression I am writing here. So I1 is equal to, we can write it as I plus E by R we can write, right? And next I am taking this this loop here. You may consider either AC DF A loop, or you may consider like BC DE B loop. So any one loop you may consider here to get another equation. So I am taking this outer loop here. So when you are taking this outer loop here, directly here it is minus IR we need to write. So I am writing minus IR minus Q by C. For this capacitor I am writing minus Q by C and plus E. So that we are traveling from negative terminal to positive terminal. And then here you need to note that then IQ, just this is simplification, IQ IR is equal to E minus Q by C we are writing here, and here only, that means here I took this current as I here, and so that now I can replace this I value as dq by dt, right? So that you can understand that, that means you can remember it easily here. So generally we write this I as dq by dt here. Then next it is the rearrangement of the terms which we derived previously, the general expression. And so then EC by Q, and I am keeping the C here only, then this R value and dt value I am writing this side. And just rearrange the terms and take integration here. Initially charge is, capacity is uncharged, so that you will get from 0 to Q limits, and this is 0 to T. And so then ln, you can write this as directly I am substituting integration and then substituting limits. So CE minus Q by, initially if you substitute 0 lower limit, then CE you will get. And this side that negative sign you will get here, because the coefficient is minus 1, so that by minus 1 you will get that minus 1 I am writing this side directly there, right? And then this, from this we are writing this by rearranging the terms, that means we are converting this logarithmic form into exponential form, so that I am writing this Q is equal to, from this I am writing Q is equal to CE of 1 minus e power minus T by RC I am writing here, right? And so now after that we need to find the current. So charge expression is completed for us. So you can observe that this is nothing but our directly, in case of a single capacitor and single resistor or there, we got this similar expression here. This Q naught we mentioned. So Q naught is nothing but the maximum possible charges. So C. So that means this expression is exactly same as that of our standard expression. So then this circuit is exactly same as that of our standard circuit. I will explain it how it is similar to that of our standard circuit, right? So then let us see the next current calculation. So current through R2. R2 means this resistance. So just then dq by dt is nothing but current through that R2 here. So just by differentiating this equation, you can calculate this current through R2. So then just by differentiating this, then you will get E by R into e power minus T by RC. So that differentiation you can understand it. And next I am finding the current through this I1 here. That means I1 value I am going to find here. So for that we need to write Kirchhoff law for this loop here. So for this loop I am going to write that Kirchhoff law here. So then I can observe that here the first term is minus IR. For this loop I am applying this direction. So next term is minus Q by C, and here we are traveling opposite direction, opposite that of current here. So it is plus I1 minus I into R we are writing there, right? And so that then this expression is minus IR Q by C, and this is plus I1R minus IR we are writing here. So then from this on simplifying you will get the I1 value here. So I1 value I am getting this value as 2I plus Q by RC. Now we can substitute this I value we already calculated here. So substitute this I value and Q value here. So then after simplification you will get this I1 as this expression here. So this is our I1 expression, right? E by R into 1 plus of e power minus T by RC. So I1 means that is nothing but the current drawn from the cell. So current drawn from the cell is given by that expression. And next we need to find the current flowing through this resistance here, right? So current flowing through that resistance, now we can write this as, so just here you can observe that according to our assumptions we are taking this current as I1 minus I. So just we know the I1 value, this is I1 value and this is I value. So just to subtract these two values, I1 minus I, so that we are getting that value as E by R, right? And so that is a way of calculating this charge on the capacitor or current to the different branches in any circuit. So in the any circuit, the procedure is same here. So whatever the procedure we followed already for the standard derivations. So we need to follow the same procedure. So if many branches are there, the simple point you need to remember there is, in addition to that, our general procedure, the branch, that means the branch in which this capacitor is connected. So in that branch, let us assume the current as I. It is not a compulsory rule. So but if you assume it as a I, then you can replace that I value as dq by dt, so that there is no any mistake in your calculation. So otherwise, if you are taking I as any other way, that means drawn from the cell, if you are taking generally I, then you need to remember whatever the variable you are taking the current flowing to the capacitor, so that you need to replace with dq by dt. So you need to remember that. Now actually for this circuit, this much of calculation is not required. You can answer this circuit very easily in a single step. You can answer this for this circuit here. So I will explain how to answer this for this circuit directly here, right? So let us see this. So this is a given circuit here. Just I am redrawing the circuit here. So let us see this. I am redrawing the circuit here. So you can redraw the circuit like this here. This is R and this is R. That means that is nothing but R2. This is R1, right? So now observe the circuit given and what I drawn here. So is there any difference between those two circuits here? Right? Is there any difference between these two circuits? So what I am doing is just this resistance I am drawing this side here, so that there is no any difference in that circuit here, right? The potential difference across this resistance is E, and now also it is E, and potential difference across this combination is E initially, and so now this is also E only, right? And so that now this is nothing but the given circuit here. So if you observe the circuit carefully here, you can redraw the circuit like this. So once if you are able to identify this circuit, is this much calculation is required? So not at all, right? So this is nothing but our standard circuit only, standard RC circuit only. And so directly you can write that charge expression as Q is equal to Q naught, which is nothing but 1 minus C power minus T by RC you can write. And so this resistance will be directly in parallel with that, so that the current flowing through this resistance is E by R, you can write directly here. So right. So that is, if you are observing this circuit, so this much calculation is not required here. You can answer that in a single step directly here, because it is nothing but our standard circuit only. So right. So that means that is a procedure. If it is required, then we need to solve like this. So in this problem, we are able to identify that if you are identifying this, you can answer this value directly. If not, if you are unable to identify that, then this will be the procedure, right? And so now by identifying the circuit like this, that means by finding the time constant and then by finding the maximum possible potential difference across the capacitor, you can answer these values without solving like this also. So without solving like this, you can answer the circuits like this also. So simply suppose I am taking this another circuit like this now. Suppose if the circuit is that resistance is given like this. So just I am changing the circuit like this. So just this resistors were given like this. This is R1, let us take R, and let us take this as R2, which is R. And so this is the capacitance and this is the EMF of this cell is E. So then so we need to find the charge on the capacitor at any instant. So without applying all these calculations here. So right. So now first we need to find the time constant first. That is our first step if you want to answer this charge on the capacitor directly. So mention the same question here. So find the charge on the capacitor at any instant of time and current flowing through the resistors. So now for that first time what I am doing here is, so I am finding the time constant here. So for finding time constant, you know the procedure. And actually for this circuit we already calculated the time constant also. So that means across this capacitor we need to find this effective resistance here. Therefore this R effective value will be equal to R by 2 we need to write, and that's value we can write it as, therefore time constant is R effective into C you can write, and therefore RC by 2 we can write. So this is our time constant here. So next we need to find here it is, so as the charging of the capacitor will takes place, as the charging of capacitor is taking place, the charge on the capacitor will varies in this form only. That form of that equation will be like this only, some Q naught maximum possible charge into e power 1 minus e power minus t by tau you will get, right? And so now here we need to find here this Q naught value. What is the maximum possible charge here we need to calculate here. So that maximum possible charge means, so the procedure to find the maximum possible charge is, so simply remember, consider the circuit in steady state. So consider the circuit in steady state. So if you consider the current in steady state, now we can observe that current will flow only in this circuit here, right? So that means now I am taking the circuit in steady state. So if you are taking the circuit in steady state, right? So if you are taking the circuit in current in steady state here, this value will be I. You can observe this, then in steady state current will flow only through this resistance here, right? Only this part current will be there, because in steady state there is no current flowing through that capacitor here. So only in this current will flow here. Therefore this I value we can write here it as I is equal to E by 2R you can write, because these two are in series, and so that E by 2R, and so that then potential difference across this R2, so that potential difference across R2, so potential difference across R2 is equal to, we can write this value as, that means actually you need to write I R2 we need to write, so that which is nothing but I is E by 2R, that R2 is also R only, so E by 2, or directly also you can say that these two resistors are same, so potential difference will be equally divided. So now this is the maximum potential difference across this is nothing but now E by 2, and so that the maximum possible charge on that is, therefore what I am writing is maximum charge on capacitor. So maximum charge on capacitor will be equal to Q max is equal to CE by 2. Is it clear? So whatever the maximum potential difference is there here, same potential difference you will get here. And therefore you know the time constant, and if you know the maximum value, you can answer this charge on the capacitor easily. So charge on the capacitor we can write it as, our general form is Q is equal to Q max into 1 minus e power minus t by tau we need to write. So this is our general form of the charge in case of charging of the capacitor, so that I can write this as CE by 2 into 1 minus e power minus t by 2t by RC. So is it clear? So that is the charge on this capacitor here. So charge on the capacitor is given by this equation. So directly we are solving it by directly. That means we are not applying anywhere that Kirchhoff law here. So yes, just by considering simply that circuit time constant and finding the maximum possible potential difference, thereby maximum possible charge, we are writing this equation. Now you may solve the same circuit by using our Kirchhoff, by applying Kirchhoff laws also. So whenever they are asking just the finding the charge on the capacitor, try to answer this by using this method here, right? So by using this, just by identifying this T effective, that means time constant itself, you can identify you can eliminate the sum of the options there. So then after that you need to check for this Q maximum here. So after finding that Q maximum and that value, you can easily identify that in the given options, you can easily identify that what is the correct expression for the charge on this capacitor here, right? So like that you can find the charge on the capacitor easily. So I will give the another circuit here. So try to find that charge on the capacitor in that case. So say this is R, this is R, and this is 2R, right? And so that now this is E and this is C. So question is find the charge on the capacitor and the current through the different resistors. Find the current through the different resistors. So once you are able to calculate the charge on the capacitor, you can calculate the current in this branch of this circuit also. So then you can answer it easily. So try to answer first by this method. So try to answer this by method. First calculate the effective time constant like that, and then consider to calculate the maximum charge. So remember this, to calculate the maximum charge, you need to consider the circuit in steady state. So consider the circuit in steady state. So once if you consider the circuit in steady state, no current flows through the branch in which capacitor is connected. So now in this circuit, so this is the branch here. So once if you consider the steady state here, no current is flowing across this here, right? And so that when no current is flowing here, then potential difference across this will be 0. So then whatever potential difference is there across this R, then same potential difference will be there across this C also, right? And so that now that is a way of finding that. So then calculate this value and then solve by using the Kirchhoff laws also. So because some problems we need to apply the Kirchhoff laws only. Later we discuss those problems. So there we solve the problems only by applying the Kirchhoff laws there. And so that then verify your answer by applying the Kirchhoff laws also. So then solve the same problem by the two methods, by this direct method by finding time constant and finding the maximum possible charge, and also solve by Kirchhoff laws there, right? So some more problems are there. I will explain those problems in our next class, right? Thank you.